Learning Goals. Welcome to this learning session on Stop, Think, Rise. In this course, we shall address mastering the half-second pause, navigating online dynamics and risks, applying the think filter, choosing compassion, and active bystanding, building your digital personal compass. There will be a quiz at the end to test your knowledge. The power of the half-second pause. There is a specific half-second that sits between the moment a thought arrives and the moment it leaves your thumbs. This gap is the critical space where mindful speech and response flexibility occur, allowing the brain's judgment centers to engage. Without this pause, we operate on the older, faster parts of our brain, built for immediate threat response rather than considered communication. Research shows that taking even one breath before responding shifts the nervous system out of a purely reactive state. Most regretted digital interactions, from fractured friendships to deleted comments, can be traced back to skipping this vital moment of consideration. Mindful speech, the practice of intentional communication. Response flexibility, the ability to choose a response rather than react impulsively. Neural gap, the space between stimulus and reaction. The online disinhibition effect. Digital spaces possess a unique combination of permanence and distance that face-to-face conversations lack. In person, we witness the immediate impact of our words through facial expressions and body language, which triggers an internal repair mechanism. Online, the absence of this social feedback loop leads to the online disinhibition effect, where individuals say things they would never utter in person. This psychological phenomenon is well documented and explains why words feel lighter to send than they actually are once they land. Because the reaction happens out of view on a device we aren't holding, the weight of the impact is often underestimated by the sender. The permanence of digital text means that a heated moment can be captured and revisited years later, long after the original mood has passed. Unlike a spoken argument that fades into memory, a digital comment exists as a permanent, copyable object. This lack of transience means that our fastest self can create lasting damage with a single click. Understanding this mechanism is the first step toward regaining emotional control and protecting one's digital footprint. It requires a shift from acting on impulse to acting from our best self, which considers the long-term consequences of every interaction. Applying the think filter. The think filter is a practical tool derived from psychology and ancient wisdom to guide communication. Before sending any message, one should ask if it is true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and kind. You do not need all five to align perfectly, but if a comment fails several, it is a sign to pause or refrain from sending. True means being honest to what you actually know, rather than reacting to out-of-context screenshots or rumors. Helpful distinguishes between providing useful information and using facts as a weapon to make others feel small. This filter transforms reactive impulses into intentional, constructive contributions. True. Is this factually accurate and based on first-hand knowledge? Helpful. Does this improve the situation or just serve my ego? Inspiring. Does this leave the recipient more capable or less? Necessary. Does this thought actually need an audience right now? Kind. Does this protect the other person's dignity? The danger of the group chat. Group chats present a unique danger known as the audience effect, where social pressure encourages sharper and crueler behavior. In these spaces, individuals often feel a need to maintain a reputation or be the funniest voice, leading to the exclusion or mocking of others. This harm is often hard to detect because it manifests as silence or the absence of a name rather than a direct attack. Research indicates that teens find this form of quiet bullying particularly distressing. Applying the think filter to group interactions is essential to ensure that humor does not become a mask for cruelty. The momentum of a group chat can quickly lead to a pile-on, where the social cost of being unkind is lowered by the actions of others. When one person makes a negative comment, others feel a sense of social permission to join in, often without realizing the cumulative weight of their words. This de-individuation reduces personal accountability, as the action feels like it belongs to the crowd rather than the individual. Recognizing this pattern allows a person to become an interrupter rather than a contributor to the cycle of outrage. Choosing to stay silent or sending a private message of support can effectively break the momentum of a digital mob. Many view strangers as background characters, but this perspective is flawed. Every interaction holds significance, especially in our digital lives. Most people carry a quiet assumption that only the people they know personally truly matter, while strangers are seen as extras in their story. This perspective is statistically flawed and dehumanizing, especially in a world where most interactions occur with people we will never meet. Every stranger is the main character of their own life, carrying their own burdens, griefs, and hopes that are invisible to us. Treating every interaction as if it might be the one that matters is the only honest approach to digital life. A single moment of patience or decency can have a disproportionately large impact on someone navigating a difficult day. Anonymity in comment sections often makes it feel like our words don't count, but this is a dangerous illusion. While anonymity removes our own accountability, it does nothing to reduce the weight of the words for the person receiving them. Research shows that online cruelty reaches scales face-to-face interactions never do, precisely because the sender cannot see the impact. Conversely, unexpected kindness from a stranger carries a unique weight because it is given without obligation. Choosing to be the kind stranger serves as evidence of a better world and builds a reputation based on true character rather than curated images. Private message. Reaching out to the target to offer support and disagreement with the attack. Refuse amplification, declining to share, screenshot, or comment on hostile content. Direct reporting, using platform tools to flag toxic content and limit its reach. Public dissent, a single calm voice stating, "I don't think this is fair," to break the illusion of unanimity. When you are the target, if you find yourself being targeted online, it is crucial to remember that the situation is a reflection of the attacker's choices, not your worth. The first and most important step is documentation. Screenshot everything, including usernames and timestamps, before blocking or deleting. This evidence is vital if the situation requires intervention from schools, platforms, or law enforcement. Resisting the urge to respond in kind is difficult but necessary, as engagement often provides the fuel that keeps the interaction alive. Instead, focus on protecting your mental state by stepping away from the app and seeking support from trusted individuals. Telling someone is a deliberate and necessary step, yet research shows a significant gap between those who say they would tell an adult and those who actually do. This hesitation often stems from a fear of losing access to devices or feeling embarrassed about being targeted. It is helpful to decide in advance who your trusted person will be. Someone who will listen without alarm and offer practical help. Remember that this painful chapter is temporary and does not define the permanent shape of your life. Using the reporting and blocking tools provided by platforms is not an overreaction. It is a legitimate way to manage your digital safety. Compassion as practical strength. There is a common misconception that compassion is a soft trait or a liability in high-pressure social settings. However, research suggests that genuine compassion is a form of practical strength that enhances emotional resilience and stress management. By shifting from a defensive, self-protective posture to one of understanding, individuals gain more cognitive resources to handle challenges. This orientation reduces the brain's threat response activity, leading to better long-term performance and well-being. Compassion and accountability are not opposites. It is possible to hold high standards while acting from a place of care rather than contempt. Self-compassion is equally vital, as being harsh with oneself activates the same stress systems as external criticism. Many people are trained to use self-criticism as a tool for improvement, but this often leads to a state of constant, self-generated threat. Treating oneself with the same care offered to a friend produces a measurable reduction in stress and fosters a healthier environment for growth. In digital spaces, this means allowing yourself to make mistakes and learn without spiraling into shame. Building a habit of asking what might this person be struggling with before replying can transform your digital presence and your internal state. Building your personal compass. Social media platforms are not neutral. They are optimized for engagement, which often prioritizes outrage and emotional reactions over calm content. If you do not deliberately examine your own values, you risk absorbing the incentives of the algorithm by default. Building a personal moral compass involves identifying 3 or 4 core principles for how you want to show up online. These values should be specific enough to measure your behavior against, such as I check for truth before sharing, or I say the kind thing publicly. This internal guide provides a standard for self-respect that is independent of external validation, like likes or shares. Once established, this compass requires regular maintenance through honest self-reflection. A simple monthly check-in to ask if your online behavior matched your values can prevent the algorithm from quietly overwriting your intentions. This practice is not about achieving perfection or grading yourself harshly, but about noticing the gap when it opens. Having clearly named values grants a specific kind of freedom, as you no longer need a winning comeback to feel you have done the right thing. Your digital footprint becomes a reflection of your best self, built one intentional choice at a time. The rise, long-term digital posture rising above the internet noise, is not a single dramatic event, but a long accumulation of small, unglamorous choices. It looks like sending a private message of support when others are silent, or offering an honest apology when you recognize you've caused harm. This consistent pattern of choosing care over cruelty builds a reputation as a considered, compassionate presence that others can trust. You do not need to become a different person, you simply need to reach for the version of yourself that exists in the gap after the pause. This best self is already within you, waiting to be accessed more often on ordinary days. The legacy of a RISE mindset is a digital life defined by integrity and resilience, rather than reactive outrage. By mastering the half-second pause and the think filter, you break the cycle of hostility and lead healthier conversations. This practice is available to you in every message you send, requiring no special preparation or circumstances. The choice to use these tools when nobody is watching is what makes them truly valuable. As you move forward, remember that your words have a size and impact you cannot always see, and acting from a place of compassion determines the legacy you leave behind. Summary: well done, you have completed the course Stop, Think, Rise. You should now be familiar with mastering the half-second pause, navigating online dynamics, and risks, applying the think filter, choosing compassion, and active bystanding, building your digital personal compass. Should you need to revisit any of the topics in this course, please use the menu at the bottom of the screen.